All right, so I want to officially welcome everyone once again to Digital Z Hub. As we all know, this is a platform where we dish out professional tech skills to individuals who recognize this opportunity like you. All right, so we started this training. I understand that we merged two sessions together. There was a session that I had on Thursday, which that class happened to be their first class. And there is an existing session also, which have attended the class of Thursday. So I merged all of us together because I feel that we are all at the same points. So nobody should be confused. Perhaps you, for those of you that just joined for the very first time, you'll be referred to that video. Go and watch it and be able to up your skill to where we are. But most of the things we treated in those sessions will be retouched in this class. So you have nothing to lose. We are still at the very fundamental stage of the program. So we started looking at introduction to Python programming. So a lot has been said concerning what Python programming language is all about, what it can do. All of that can be, achieved when you go through that video. I'm still having Borno State Entertainment. I hope I will not remove you from the class very soon if that continue. Borno State. I said somebody should help me to put it in the group that every other person should turn off their video. If you continue disturbing, I will remove you from the class. Then you settle for the recorded video, please. All right. So like I was saying, I made a video on how to set up a development environment for Python programming, both on mobile and on laptop. And I know that I published the link in the fresh or one of the, I think the class I had on Thursday. Every one of us must have downloaded and set up our development environment, which is Python. So I actually, like I told us, those that attended the Thursday class, that this session I'll be walking us through learning of Python using one of the most prescribed environment for writing and implementing Python code, which is the Python. So the application you are seeing on the interface is referred to as Python. Now understand that some of us, your own might be showing black background. So I actually changed mine to display what? White theme. So, but I would like to find out if this particular theme, this particular background is better. I believe if I write my code, please, I want you to confirm. I just need one person to confirm whether my codes are more visible with this theme or whether I'm to switch back to the black theme. Please, I just need just one person. Clement, if you are here, if you can help me to confirm.
No,
Are you seeing this better than the...
the white background is not good.
Okay,
The
so
white
I'm going to
background is not
change
good.
to... So I'm going to change to black now. I just want to make sure that I work with the one that we can see what I am writing. Okay, so to change the background, that would be an avenue for some of us to know how to go about that. So you go to File, and then from File, you navigate to Settings. You navigate to Setting. So the moment you click on Settings, you are going to see Appearance. So you can see under Appearance, you just simply come here. So let me change it to dark. And then you also tell me if this is actually better. So let me click OK. So let me write a comment and then you tell me if this is better. Please, somebody else should confirm which one is better. Is this better? Can you see my code better with this? If it is not, then we check another one. I just want to make, because somebody actually complained last time that he was finding it difficult to understand, was finding it difficult to see what I was writing. So I hope that is better. Is that better now? Let me see what this one is. I think this one should be better. Please confirm which one. This one should be better. Mr. Clement, please help us to confirm. I don't want too many people to unmute.
Okay. Yeah, since this blue background is good.
This one is better, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now let's get started. So I am going to take a little bit step backward. I'm going to take a little bit step backward, and then we will just take it off from there. So a way of refreshing our memory. Now, in our last class, we started looking at what we call Python basic commands or syntax. Python basic command or syntax. So we started looking at that topic in our last meeting, and I explained to us why, as a beginner, why that aspect is very necessary to us. As a matter of fact, any aspect of tech you are going into for the very first time, professionally, you are advised to master the basic before you accelerate from there. The basic gives you a very solid background that will later be applied in almost every other aspect you might dive into. So as a result of that, we started looking at Python basic syntax / command. So under this topic, we covered some of the basic, such as comments. We talk about comments, and I told us that comments in programming generally they are statements that are only good for narration. Statements that, or a section of your code that is not meant for the language to execute. So in other words, they are only good for interpreting your code. And I also explained that once Python see comments, it tells Python that this part of the code should not be executed. All right. And I also explained how do we denote comment? How do we tell Python? Because this is a language. How do we tell Python that this particular part of my code is a comment, that it should not be executed? And I said the icon or the sign that Python will see that will inform it that, oh, this section is a comment, is the hash. And I believe we should all know how to activate this hash on our keyboard. Just for you to press down the shift button on your keyboard, and then you press letter 3. So that will give you this comment icon. So any other thing you write, so I can say this is a Python comment. Once it starts with a hash, Python sees that as a comment. Now, we also talked about types of comments. We talked about single line comments
Please,
and multi-line comments.
question.
Single line comments and multi-line comments. Right? Now I told us that single line comment is the one that is denoted with this hash, which means that that comment cannot exceed that line. So if I go down, that comment do not cover whatever I am writing on this particular line. That is why it is referred to as single line comment. Comment notation that only covers what you write on a line. Now, if you want, I was talking about, in other words, we can say that this is also referred to as single line comment. This is also referred to as single line comment. Now, I also told us in that session that we have another type of comment in Python, which is referred to as multi-line, So this is a kind of comment that covers what? 2 or more lines. And it is denoted with 3 string like this. I believe we know how to write this 3. So you expand it like this. So now whatever you write in between will be treated as comments. So you can see that is why it's referred to as what? Multi-line. That is what? A comment notation that are cut across multiple lines. So by the time we get to probably advanced or intermediate aspect of Python, where we start developing some real-life application, you will see that at times we want to be explaining a section of our code that will go beyond just a single line. So in that case, you see me using the multi-line. So the multi-line is just to be denoted with what? 3 word string, 3 quotation. Please, that is how you tell Python that everything that is going to be written inside this, in other words, from here to this place, should be treated as comments. Please, I want one person that is following to say, sir, I am getting what you are teaching. Just one person, just
Yes,
one
sir. I want to
person.
ask a question, sir. I want to ask a question, sir.
Okay, please, please, whoever is asking question, make sure you call your name, and if possible, tell us briefly where you are
Okay.
joining from, if you have not done that.
Now, my name is Ayobami, and
Okay.
in the last class, you said if there is a space between one word and another word, there should be something called underscore.
Yeah, we
So,
have
but
not
in this
gotten that.
comment, I did not.
We,
Okay,
no, we
that
have
is not
not.
applicable to
No,
comment.
that you. No. That is variable. That question is coming from when we were talking about variable. Just so that we're still going to talk about that. All right. So please, you
Okay,
can mute
okay.
back now. You can mute back. All right. So now, that is just to refresh our memory on comments. That is just to refresh our memory on comments. So persons are still not muting themselves. All right. Now, please, I want to hear from Borno State Entertainment. Can you hear me? Borno State Entertainment. I want to believe you can. I want to find out if you are even hearing me. Borno State Entertainment. You are just looking at the class. Are you hearing me at all? Because all the things I've been saying that say you are not hearing. I'll say you should switch off your video. We don't want to see it. Okay, I still believe that he's not hearing me. But now if you
This
have
guy lying
responded.
down on bed with a blue. Put off
Yes,
your video.
he's not hearing me at all. I'm not sure that he's hearing me.
That is the problem. You can
Mm,
mute him, I think.
I don't, yes, I've already muted him. I don't have issue with the muting, just that video that, okay, well, let's see how we can cope. I don't think he's hearing me. All right, so that was one of the things we treated in that class. Now we also talk about Python variable. We talk about Python variable. Talk about Python variable. Right now, and we define variable. Told us that variables are container. We need to understand that containers used to store Variable are container used to store values, values in a program. Variables are containers used to store values in a program. All right. Now, the illustration that I gave to us was that if I want to write a program, I want to write an app, and that app needs certain information. And I discovered that those informations are not embedded in the language library. They are not already in the language. So the next question I will ask myself as a programmer is how do I get those information to be acknowledged within the program memory so that whenever I need them while I am writing my app or my program, I can always invoke them from their respective memory allocation. That is one of the core reasons why programmers cannot do without variable. So it's one of the fundamental aspects of Python that you must understand. Not just Python, across other programming languages. You must understand the concept of variable. So the simple way of defining it is what I have just explained. So see variable as a container or as a box that you put things inside. But variable can only store one value by standard. All right, so I will also talk about variable syntax. We also discuss variable syntax. Why I am concerned us understanding this basic, because anybody here that do not master this basic will have issue with us when we go a little bit advanced. So I just want to be sure that nobody is left behind. Now we talk about variable syntax. Now in that class, I told us that in programming, the term syntax mean defined rules. Are you with me? Just like laws, like standard that we must follow when we are speaking a language that computer understand, which is called programming language. That is the meaning of syntax. All right? It's just like English. Even English has a lot of syntax. That is why some of us will fail writing letter. There is a syntax for writing formal letter. There is a syntax for writing informal letter. So if you switch them, if you swap them, then you score 0. Informal letter has its own format. So in programming, this set of rules, depending on the language you are running, but in this case, since we are focusing on Python, this set of defined rules, global rules, must be adhered to. Otherwise, you get error. So, and in expanding our knowledge on variable syntax, I told us that there are 3 parts that makes up a variable. Why is it important for us to understand, to identify these 3 parts? So that anytime you declare a variable, you will know whether it's complete or one part of it is missing. So, and I told us that the first part of a variable is the naming part. The naming part. And then the second part is the what? The assignment. The assignment operator. The assignment operator, right? Which is denoted with what? Single equal sign. And the third part of a variable is the value. So each time you declare a variable, you must ensure that that variable has a section called name. That variable has an assignment operator, and that variable should be given a value. So for example, here, if we are asked to create, let's say this is tax 1 in today's class. Now we are asked to create variable to store my basic information. Let's assume that we are asked to create a variable to store basic information, my basic information, which constitutes my first name, my middle name, maybe my country, then my age. So I'm to create 4 different variables. Remember I said they are container. So in this case, I will say that, okay, now remember I said variable have 3 syntax. So I will start with the name. I will start by giving that container a name. And the reason, that is why even when you are working in Microsoft Word, when you open Microsoft Word, the moment you click on Save As, we always notice that there will be a dialog box that will be prompted, asking you to save. And there is a part of it at the bottom that will tell you your file name. So which means that what the document you are about to create will be stored somewhere, and it needs identity to help you to identify it. So the same thing, every variable needs an ID. It needs a name. So, and the conventional rules for naming variable, like I explained in that class, that do not start naming your variable with number. You cannot say variable start with what? Number. Variable naming should not start with number, but it can start with underscore, is allowed. All right? Now, but that does not mean that I can save my variable name as what? 1, 2, 3. Provided I am not starting with number. Let's take that as one of the rules for declaring variable. All right? So we also talk about cases. That is whether it should be capital letter or lowercase. And I mentioned 3 popular use cases. We have the camel case. Camel case is involved where you are using 2 words to name your variable. For example, first name. And I told us in that session that the first word should be written with what? Small letter or true. Then you separate the first word and the second word with underscore. If for any reason you don't want to merge them. Then the first letter of the subsequent words after the first one should start with capital letter. That is camel case. All right. Now, this very word is is a variable that is going to hold my first name. Now, because my name is a text, that is the reason why we are putting it in a string. That quote that you are saying in programming, they are called what? String. It can be single, it can be double. Both of them are acceptable. So if I say my first name is Prosper, then I'll go to the next line. Then I want to also create a variable that will hold my country. So I can say my country. I can just use a single word. Country equals to, then my country is a string. Nigeria is a string. Is a text. So long as a text, if you are storing it in a variable, it must be acknowledged with the quote. That quotation, I repeat, in programming, it is called what? String. Right? So I want to create a variable that will also store my age. And then my age is a number. In programming, which we are going to talk about toward the end of today's section, data type, which we started, but I'm going to go a little bit further in this session. Now, what is happening here will be understood better when I start talking about the data type. There's a reason why I am quoting some value. There's a reason why I'm not quoting some value. But for now, just know that whenever you are storing a number in programming can be a whole number or a decimal number. When it is a whole number in programming, we refer to it as integer. When it is a decimal number in programming, we refer to it as float or double. So both of them, if you are holding them in the variable, do not require quoting them. Just type them the way they are. So this is what? An integer, because it does not have a decimal unit. All right, so this is a basic syntax on how to declare variable. Now let's identify those 3 things. I mentioned naming part. So in this variable, this is the naming part. First name. I mentioned assignment operator. In this variable, assignment operator is the equal sign. So it does not mean equality in programming. It simply means a pipe that is used to what? To to transport the value into the what? The container. Then I also mentioned the value part. The value part is simply that particular name, that is Prosper. And Prosper was created with the quotation because it is a text or string or character-based data type. Now, we also talk about how do we output stuff in Python. That was another topic that we discussed. How do we output stuff? So how to display something. Or how to display something or information in Python. That's the next question. For example, let's say we have learned Python to developing GUI, that is graphical user interface, which means this particular environment is a backend. This is a development backend. The ordinary users that will use the app, they are not expected to have access to whatever you are writing here. So for those of us that follow us to the advance after this your registration that covers basic and such that whatever we are writing here, the output will no longer be in the terminal. The output will no longer be in the console. The output will be in the what? Will be displayed through an app interface. So, but for now, because we are still learning Python as a language itself, we are going to be displaying our output in the console. So the console is the icon. If you are using PyCharm, this is it. But ordinarily, if you do not expect it, will automatically what? Call it up. So for example, we just store some information in 3 variables. If I want to print, let's say I have created the user interface where once they log into the app, just like OPay, just like Money Points, once you log in, I want to see what my age is this, or my biodata is this, or my first name. Let's say I want to display that. So I told us in that class that one of the basic Python command you should know should be what we call printing command. Print command. I told us that this print command is one of the basic Python function that is used to display something. So you only need to call this when you want to display something. For example, now, the task given to you and I, this is task 2. Task 2 is what? Now, display the variables values in the console, right? Or terminal. So let's say this is the second task. So in that case, I will now say print. You can see because I'm asked to display something. So I'm calling the what? The print command. Print. Now, there's something I told us last time. Let's understand this logic. Programming is about logic. Logic. Now, you see, prosper is a value that is stored in a container. So anytime I want to display prosper in or on the app, I don't need to call prosper. I don't put prosper inside here. You don't come and put prosper here because you want to see prosper. You place the container, the name of the variable that is currently holding that prosper. So programming languages understand that once you call a variable name using the print function, it means what is stored inside it is what you want to see. So you don't need to tell Python about that. So if I want to display prosper, this is what I will simply call. Now, because I'm using Python, one of the most used IDE, PyCharm, I don't need to bother myself because the term is loose. type the first two letters it are so of the benefit of library, because you don't need to stress yourself. There are a lot of inbuilt assistance, so long those things are already built in. So I will just click here and then just click on it, and then it automatically will cause it. Now, how do we now execute our code in PyCharm? You see, this is the execution. Now, there is something you need to understand. All this code that we are writing, we are actually writing this file called makepy. I think our session will go 5. Welcome back. I will teach you how to create a file before you start writing. Now, I want to explain is that if you create 2 or 3 files here, let's say just like the way we are having main.py here now, and we have another file here. We have multiple files, probably in one file or app. In another, you are building another in one file. That is where you have your packages, and then in one file you reference them. All right. Now, if you do not know, there will be an issue. You can be run and inventing just because you are in a wrong file. When you have multiple files, you click here, we see what file. And then once it is showing current file, then you click on what? This button, you see that automatically it's itself turn on the console display device is just printed. So we are going for 3 to 4 minutes, and the essence of this break is for those of you believe you can still hear me. So we are going for 3 to 4 minutes. This master class, so it's not training all through. So today I'm going to be asking some of us to share their screen. The purpose of this 5 minutes break is for you to execute the code I have executed so far. Start creating this variable. So your classwork is for you to replicate this. All right. So when I come back, I will confirm at least from 2 people before I continue. So at the same time, if you have questions, you can use this period to ask your question. So your classwork starts. And what is your classwork? Your classwork, you have to answer the same task, create very basic information. So better to create either 3 variables or even more than. Start now. So Clement, you can share your screen now. Let's go to your screen and see what you have done.
You have not disabled it. You say in
I have
host
questions, sir.
disabled attendee screen. You need to disable it.
Yes,
Just
I have
click on
questions.
share. It will
You have not
just
disabled
click
it.
on share.
I want to, hello.
Sir, it's not
Okay,
working
okay, I'm
because you
coming,
have
I'm
not
coming.
disabled it. You have not allowed us.
Don't worry, I'm coming. I want to switch it to just check now. It should go now. Check. It should go now. Check. Yes,
Yes.
kindly check now. It should go.
My own. There is my own.
Okay,
So
we are
create 3
coming on
variables.
Mr. Clement's screen now. Just
Yes.
hold on. I'm here to see it. Just hold on.
Okay. One is Clement, one is
Just hold on.
Sasori, one
I'm
is
here to
Knight.
see your screen. Mr. Clement, I'm here to see your screen.
Is it not showing now? It's showing here.
Okay, Mr. Clement, I think I can see your screen now.
Okay.
That's good. Clement, you are progressing. You can stop sharing. Let me see if someone else is ready. Please, if your own is ready,
I
kindly
have
let us
stopped.
know. Even if you are coding with your mobile phone, you can still share. You can still share your screen with us. So I'm waiting for.
Yes, sir.
Let me
Please,
confirm
I
from
want
one
to
more
report my
person
answer.
before we
I'm
continue.
done, bro.
Hopefully, the next 2 minutes is good. Basiru, you are doing well. I think you are using Google Colab. Basiru, you are doing well also. Okay, that's good. Basiru, I've confirmed your code. You can stop sharing. Let me see if I can get from one more person. Basiru, you can stop sharing. Please, can others see my screen now? Please confirm so that we can continue. Others, can you see my screen? Basiru, I have to stop sharing now. I want to be sure if Basiru have stopped sharing. Can you all see my screen? Mr. Clement, can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen.
Okay, so
Hello.
all right, so at least I've confirmed from
Hello.
two persons, which yeah, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. I hope you can hear
I can
me.
see your screen.
Well, can you hear me? I want to be sure that I'm audible. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so every other person, please mute so that we can proceed with the class. All right. So basically, these are some of the basic things we have discussed. At the moment, we are going to change our topic to understanding Python data types. Understanding Python / programming data types. Understanding Python / programming data type. So that is the topic, though I started this topic with the first class last time, but I did not conclude it. And I also stylishly introduced it with the session that I had on Thursday. Now, what do we mean by data type? Every programmer must understand the concepts around data type. So the best way I'm going to explain it to us is this. In programming, as a matter of fact, you can say everything we have illustrated or implemented today we have used information. We have used data. And that is why one of the procedures in learning programming is that once you understand those basic syntax, which include comments, which include prints, which include, okay, there is still one more, which is inputs, I'm still going to find a way of bringing it in. You work with information. So in programming, data types mean different kind of information needed to write program. Let me put it, data type. The information we use in programming. The information we use in programming. Right? Every language that you speak, so long it is a computer language, it requires information to write its program. You need to understand what's the information that can be used to speak that language. And that is why this topic is very, very fundamental. Understanding data type. And that is the reason, because I understand data type, is the reason why I know whether to quote this when I am holding it in a variable or not to quote 90. That is because I understand data type, like we're about to learn now. So which means that at the end of this topic, you should be able to know why this Prosper is quoted and 90 is not quoted. That's because they are two different types of data. All right, so in summary, data type are information that we need in programming. Now, this data type can be classified. So that takes us to classification. Like I advised us last time, you can't attend online training like this without jotting down important information. Please endeavor to always join the sessions with your biro and paper or electronic word notes to take down key points. Don't leave everything till you watch video. Right? Classification of a computer, or let's say I want to
Please, have you started
personalize it to
recording, sir?
Python data type. Yes, I'm recording. I am recording. I'm very sure of that. Yes. All right. So classification of Python data types. Now, what we are saying is that now that we know that a programmer needs information to write a program. For example, we want to build app. Say, for instance, OP app or calculator. You are going to build that app by assembling what? Different data type. You are going to work with what? This data type. And that is why we must understand them. So I am saying that in programming, particularly in Python, these information that are required for programming, for writing Python programs or apps, can be classified into two in a broader word perspective. All right, which are number one, we refer to them as basic or primitive data type. Primitive what? Data types. All right. Then the second category of data type in Python programming is what we call multi-structure. Multi-structure or advanced. Let me see if I can break it from here. So this is where I will have used multi-line, okay, or advanced, or we can even refer to them as reference, because what I'm giving us this different term because of the material that some of us might, lay our hands on. There are some textbooks that will refer to this one as reference. Some textbook will refer to them as advanced, or some instructor can refer to them as what? Multi structure. So when we get to that, probably that will be our main topic in the next class. Our main topic. I learned that we're going to have June 12th as public holiday. So outside Sunday, like I told us, is about confirmation. I mean, just communicate to us via the group. I'll seek your consent if I have space and I say, okay, whether we should add, I will let us know. But at this fundamental level, I don't really want us to have too many days because to give you room to practice. But when we get to, a more advanced, we can be meeting twice in a week. Then I know that nobody is still struggling with the basic. Now, but in this session, I am going to focus on the basic or the primitive. So our focus is focused on basic or primitive. Primitive what? Data type. Primitive data types. That is going to be my focus. Now, how do we define this type of data? How do we define this type of data? When we say basic, these are, let me see if I can. So these are Python inbuilt data type. So we must understand it. These are Python what? Inbuilt data type. Now, which means these are data type that have already been constructed into Python. So Python have them already. All right. So we need to understand that these are what? Inbuilt data type. So what are the examples of this data type? As a matter of fact, there is a reason why they are inbuilt. All right. If you buy a calculator and it comes with inbuilt function, that is to tell you the priority. That is to tell you the importance of that function. For it to be one of the basic, it means that it is a must-use function. All right? So that is why I said they are already built in what? In Python, this particular data type. So let's quickly take them one after the other. So I'm looking at the examples now. So the first one I want to take is what we call the string. The string what? Data type. Now, by definition, the word string, not only in Python, the word string means text. Please, let me just put it this way. String or text. All right, data type in programming. Now, these are character base. These are character base what? Data type. So we must understand it this way. Character-based data type. What do we mean by character in programming? Character are strictly what? Alphabet. So the collection of this alphabet forms what? A string. The collection of this alphabet forms a string. Even if it is one letter, Python will treat that as what? A string. So what is the example of what we can call, or the kind of data or information Python recognizes as a string? Now, for example, name of people, name of things, they are string. All right. So, for example, I can say Prosper is a string. All right. Computer is a string. So long is written in form of text, it is a string. Now, we are going to explain this further by using the same variable concept that we just learned now. So which means that if I'm to, let's say there is a task here given to us, let's say task 3, which says what? Create a Python string variable. Create Python string variable. You know what that means? It means that you should create a container that will be storing, or that stores what? Text. So for example, I'll say, okay, name is equal to name variable is assigned, let's see what, hello, right? So now that hello, how do I know that is a string? Because it has E. That is character base. E, L, O, H, O. These are characters. Now, in Python, strings, whenever you are saving string in a variable, the law or the syntax implies that it must be in either single quote or double quotes. So which means that if I'm to just emphasize here, if I say string values must be stored in variable with quotes, a single quote like this, or double quote or single quote. So any of this is allowed. So you can see that currently I'm using double quote to store what? Prosper. Now, there is something that we need to understand. Now, Python is an artificial what? Intelligence language. So we want to check whether, we want to ask Python, we want to be sure whether you actually acknowledge a hello as a string. I want to be sure. So now the way I'm going to do that will now introduce a kind of function, which means that what? Python function to check data type. Python function to check data type. All right. So in this case, I am going to say, okay, Python, I want you to check what type of data is currently stored in name. So and I want you to output. I want you to display whether it is a string or it is a number. So not just checking. I want you to display it to me whether this is a string or this is a number. So I want Python to display that. So how would that be possible? So what I'm going to simply do is this. So I'm going to say print. That is why I took my time to explain that anytime you want to display your results, you must consult the print name here, which means that I just want to see what? I just want to see the value in that container. But what I want to see is Python to tell me the type of value in that container. So in that case, I'm going to put in that print type. All right. So type is a function. For that, it must carry its own parenthesis brackets. And then inside the type, that is where we are supplying the name. So what we are saying is that type, check the type of data type, whatever result you get, send it to print to display it to the user. That is why we are nesting the type inside what? Print. So if I run this code, you see that what? Python outputted what? Oh, class. It is what? String, str, main string. I need one person to unmute and say, sir, we are getting what you are teaching. Just one person.
We are getting what you are teaching.
God bless you, sir. Okay, so now that is one thing. So now I have just established that anytime you create a variable, let's create another variable. This is a string variable. Now we just confirm that, oh, we know how to, we know what is string. Now, let's something. There is something I told the first class or the second class, that one of the benefits of learning programming is ability to solve complex problems. So which means that our problem solving is part of programming. All right. Now, for example, if I remove one of the quotes, if I remove one of the quotes and I run this code, I should be getting error. So when you run your code and you get error, please, like I advised before, do not be discouraged. Errors are part of programming, but your ability to solve them is what makes you a professional. Mind you, there is no level of professionalism you will be that you will not face, that will not have error when you are writing program. What matters is that you know the technical know-how to resolve the error. So now let me bring it back, and then that is what we mean by word string. All right. So now, now we understand string. Let's look at another basic data type. We are still talking about different information that we need to program. Now, the next data type I want to talk about is, which is number 2, is what? Numbers. Now, in programming, we use number to perform calculation and a lot of things in programming. So therefore, we need to know that programming requires what? Numbers. Now, in programming, numbers can be divided into 2 types or into 2 categories. We have what we call the first type of number as integer. Integer means whole number without decimal units. Any number you write in programming that does not have a decimal unit, that number in programming should be called integer. So you will hear programmer using the word integer most time. You won't hear them mentioning what? Number. You will either hear them using the word integer or float or double. Now that is one type of what? Number. The second type of programming number is float. Or double. Float or double. Now, how do we recognize floats? These are computer programming numbers with decimal units. For example, we can have 90.6. The moment it carries the decimal unit, please, that is what? It floats. Why it is called double? Because they can stand independently. I can have 90.0, I can have 0.6. So just like you combine 2 numbers together to form 1. That is why I said in some material, it will be addressed as double number, while in some materials, it can be addressed as what? Float. Now we have a task here, and the task is, task 4 is create a number which could be integer variable, which could be what? Integer variable. So it means I'll say age. So we have used age before. So let me now use age. So I can say what? My height. Let's say height. My height is what? 90.5. So this is float. This is float variable. Now, sometimes the value we are storing in the variable can be used to address a type. That is why I refer to this as string variable. So this one is what? Float or number what? Variable. So I can say, okay, I have let's say variable s holding what? Just 90. So this is what? This is integer variable. This is integer variable. This is integer variable. Sorry. All right. So now we want to also check Python. We want to know whether Python actually recognizes this as float or this as integer. So this is what we are going to do, the same thing that we did the other time. Now I'll say Python check, that is what, print type. So I want to start with the height. Print type what? Height. What type of value is currently stored in what? Height. Let's check what Python will tell us. Can you see it? Float. So that means we are correct. Now I want Python to check the type of value in S. So print type S. And if I run the code, I'll be able to know. You can see it now, integer. All right. So that is how to check the type of what? Data type. So far so good. We have explained two types of what? Basic data type or the primitive data type, the string and the what? The number. Under the number, we have the floats, we have the integer, which we just confirmed now. Now, the next data type, which is number 3, is Boolean. Now, what is Boolean in Python programming? Boolean is a data type which is used mainly for decision making. Data type mainly for decision making, true or false, and it has only two values, true or false, yes or no. All right. So the best way we can check the Boolean value is for us to try to perform something. Now, for example, if I look at, let's say, an example of Boolean, let me put it here. So Boolean has just two values, true or what? Or false. True or false. So let's take note of that. Now, example of Boolean, let's say we want to create an app that check whether someone is a student. For example, I just want to, do a real life application of it. Now, so I'll say, okay, I'll say variable S, which represents student. I'm storing what? Maybe Prosper. I'm storing Prosper. And then maybe age, because I've used age, I just want to spell it as AG, and age is 80. Now, I want to check Boolean. I want to use Boolean to check whether what we have. I think this will not be a perfect example. Let me use, let's say I have 70. Now I want to use Boolean. I want to check whether value in S variable is less than value in what? Age variable, is age variable. Now, what Python will output is a Boolean value. So it's going to tell me whether it is true that value in S is greater than what? Value in age. So how do we check that? These are ways we can check whether that we can check Python Boolean. So I'll say print S is greater than ag. So what Python will do, if I print this, is going to tell us whether true or false. So run the code, and then you see what you are going to get. So you can see that word false. Because what you are saying that 70 is greater than 80. It is not. Now, if I change this operator to less than, if I change it to less than, then we are going to get the other Boolean value, which is what? True. All right. So all this that I'm explaining, we are going to see them playing out. You are going to see them playing out when you get to the advanced and even the intermediate. You're going to see all of them. So if you are the type that you are in this class and you are paying less attention to understanding all these basic things, I don't want to say, I assure you, you will still have issue with the words, the advance, because you will see them coming in. You see them sneaking in. You see a complex program where at some points, these basic things that we are talking about will be what, fused in. And when you do not understand them, it makes that program look more complex to you. All right? So that is Boolean. So we'll talk about Boolean now. We are still going to be using all this. One thing about the advanced or the intermediate aspect of Python is that all these basic things, we are still going to be using them at one point or the other. All right, so the next data type I want to talk about is, once I'm done with this, we'll go for another 5 minutes break. And when we come back, we will also take it further. Now, the next one is number 4 type of basic data type. I think this will be the last one under the primitive, which is undefined data type. Undefined data type. Now, undefined data type, as the name implies, the word undefined means that what, something that does not exist within the program. So it's just like you are telling, let's say what, a value that does not exist or not created. So that is what, undefined. Now, there is a reason why we need to understand undefined. If I create A now, for example, if I create A and I go down, I create A, and then I go down and I say I want to print A. Maybe my intention is variable, but I do not understand that variable syntax require name, assignment, and value. So I just type A, which means I'm wrong. And I'm telling Python that print what is in A. Let's see you are going to see information like what? Look at it here. Name A is not defined. So whenever you try to print your code and you see undefined, from today, you should know that, oh, I am trying to print what does not exist. That is what it means. I'm trying to print what does not exist. So in that case, then as a debugger, you know, oh, he's talking about this. Then you now begin to check, where is A mentioned? Because talking about, look at what is quoting that does not define. So you now go through your code and find out where that particular word was mentioned. Say, oh, no wonder. So by the time I say, okay, is equals to what? Maybe this now. And you run it again, you say what? The error will disappear because you have just given it one. You just obey the sentence. Are we following? So we are going for another 5 minutes break. Now that 5-minute break, you are not to leave the class. You are to what? Practice the ones I just added now. And then when I come back, there are still some few manipulation that we are going to do before we bring the class to a close. The next class, I'm going to focus on the advanced data type. Make sure it's a class you must not miss. I beg you. Some of us don't depend on watching video alone. Some of us, when you are watching video, you doze off. Sometimes watching video is boring. I don't know about some of you. There's a reason why this platform take it upon ourselves to do live classes. We research. There are platforms that will record video, they will sell those video, for 10 naira. You go there and watch, you watch and watch and watch and watch, you will not get it. It's more stressful to me teaching us live than I can sit down and record video and then make very easy money. But my research shows that when students, because what the kind of lecture you are having right now, is the same thing as the physical. Even if you are with me physically here now, this is how I'm going to teach you. That is one of the benefits. So I will not encourage us to always depend on video. Some of us, you have the time. Instead of you to join the live session, you are dependent on watching video. I could be very busy. In fact, I have classes that I'm running. If you are in that YouTube, for those of you that have subscribed to that YouTube, make sure everybody here, make sure you subscribe to that YouTube. If you are in that YouTube, you will see that almost every day I upload. There are classes that goes on 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. There are classes that goes on 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we are running morning and evening because during the daytime, I'm an instructor in one of the NIT center, not just instructor. I'm their operational manager and the chief what instructor. So during the day, I'm always busy teaching students there physically. That's why you see most of our classes are structured between either 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. or 8 p.m. because I work there physically from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So 3 hours once I get home, I rest before I take evening classes like this. So please take advantage of this. We have other programs we teach on this platform, data analytics, cybersecurity, where you might probably apply some of these things if you're not going straight to building app with Python. We have graphic design, we have web development. In fact, there is, I don't know if some of you have seen the advert. On Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to be holding a webinar, a serious training on 2 times. 2 times, it's not going to be a long time training, just 2 times on web coding. The coding you are, the one you are running right now, this one is not web coding. So there I'm going to be teaching us how you can write code to build websites using HTML and CSS. So once we are done with that, we'll advance to JavaScript, where you can build, that is where pure programming language like the Python you are learning comes in. So we have other programs. Feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. And please, this particular program, like I appeal, I want to thank one of us that kept recommending students. Please tell people around you. They can still join this class. We have not gone even, let me say, 10% of what we want to learn. So they can still join. The videos are there. Somebody just joined today, I think so. So please help us. That's the best thing. What you are learning now, like I told us last time, this is what, if I did not run this promo, I take 150,000 to train somebody on this thing that you are learning. So the only help you can give to us is for you to help us to tell people about this platform. They can still join, and I'm still leaving it for 5,000 because I still just want to, promote what is happening right now because we are promoting the platform. A time will come, we won't run all this kind of program. So you are very lucky human beings. All right. So we are going on that. We are going on that 3 minutes break. 3 minutes break. Within that, I want to see you implementing.
Please, before
all
we
this.
go, I have one question. Hello, instructor. Can you hear me?
Go ahead with your questions. Ask your question, sir.
Hello, instructor.
Hi, Dixon, right?
Sincerely,
Dixon, go ahead.
Sincerely speaking, maybe because what you were writing, I can't see them. Though I use glasses, right? Maybe because I also use phone. Hold on, let me finish. Maybe because I use phone, maybe that's the reason. I don't even see them. And if I have Biro here, I wanted to be writing as you are also teaching us, but I can't see all those figures. I can't even see the bottom line is that because I didn't join last week. This is the first time I'm joining, and I think maybe when you finish this class, when I read the former class, or if I listen to that former video, and this one, maybe I can cash up. That is, and I don't. What is your? I really need your advice concerning this because I'm so enthusiastic to know this thing. That's what I'm asking.
Sorry, what is my advice
Are
on
you there?
what? On what you just said?
Yeah, like I said, I can't. Like I didn't join last week. I didn't join last week, and what you are writing, or this dashboard we are seeing, I can't even see it. I wouldn't know. Maybe you advise if is it possible
Okay,
if I try.
okay.
Now I'm saying if I transfer all of this, if I transfer maybe next class, if I join with a laptop, will it be better than this?
Sorry, sir. Can you come again?
Okay,
Sorry,
like
sir.
I said,
I think I
what
was
I'm
asked before.
saying, network has even been disrupting here. Most times I got disconnected. Like now I've disconnected again. Like now I just connected again. So network has been giving me issue here. There has been no network here and there. But this dashboard, this board you are giving us, I can't see them. I can't see what you are writing. And like last week too, I didn't join. I have Biro. I wanted to even be writing like a student, but I am not actually comprehending all these things you are saying. So I am now asking for me to catch up with the next class, maybe by Sunday or whatever. What's your advice to me?
Okay, okay. So thank God that you have already, to an extent, you have already identified some of the challenges why you are not catching up. Now, you were supposed to go and watch that last video. That's the very first video. I hope you have access to it, Mr.
Yes,
Dixon.
I've watched it
Good.
too.
Okay. Now go through that video. Now, that video, if you go through it and you practice whatever that was explained there, in fact, almost everything that I did today, they are more or less of revision of that video. So that is why I have to go back a little. Before I said I have to go back a little because I know that some of us might find it difficult to grab the basic. Once you grab this basic now, every other thing will be easier for you. Now, another challenge that you point out is that you are not seeing what I'm writing very well because you
I'm not
use
even seeing them,
glass.
not very well. I'm not even seeing them, not very well.
Okay, you are using phone, right? You are using phone.
Yes, and also I'm on glasses.
Okay, I think it's your phone screen that's the issue now. Do you have a laptop?
Yes, but he's not around. I gave it to my son. He's writing a project in school, so I gave it to my son.
So what I would advise is that I think the major reason why you are not following is that you are not seeing what I'm writing. I'm very sure that if
Exactly.
you are seeing what I'm writing, you will have been following. So I think you should try and make provision for laptop. Because if you are following this class with laptop, if you are having a public screen issue, I would advise you go with laptop because phone itself, the information will be too tiny. So for those that are having issue of seeing, I would advise that you get a laptop because that is the only solution for now. Except if any other person have any idea, somebody who has once
Okay.
faced the
One
challenge.
thing
Mm.
I still want to implore you to do is fine. When I was listening to that last video, I got to realize that those things you were saying, they are basic things we know, but you are using an IT terminology.
Yeah.
So I think if there are areas you can use normal, me, I'm a management student. I'm a management student. So I am just trying to translate to IT,
I see.
and I graduated very long ago, over 26 years ago. So if you can see how long I've been from school. So I want you to, in a situation whereby some of your terminology should correlate with the language we use, maybe in the street or in the industry, so that we can understand better. Because when I was listening to your video some times ago, I realized that we use system, we use everything in our office. We have IT. If I have issues with my system, I call my IT desk, come and attend to me. Some of those things you were saying, at times if it's attending to my system in the office, he use those language too, but in a friendly way. So please, I'm just appeal to your sense of equity. If there is a way you can use some languages that are very common to us.
Okay, so I think one thing about learning tech, like you say, you are just trying to switch. I understand your challenge. Um, yes, it's a challenge that some of us also face, but at the same time, we are careful with. I've been in the industry for a while, and I understand that sometimes when you are learning a trade, you are not also learning the technology. It can make you to fail an interview. So using those terms are strategically planned so that a student that graduates from Python class, if he or she goes for interview, and because most time when you go for interview, they will not use those traditional language you are asking for. That's why it's called another language. For example, when I say variable, I said variable are boxes. They are container. Now, container is a word that we all hear every day. You understand? So I will have just said variables are storage. Or for me to come down to
Okay.
say that variables are container. Variables are boxes that we store things. You see that I'm trying to come down after using the terms. So maybe your challenge now is that, like you said, you are just switching. It is normal, sir, but after some time you get used to it. After some time you get used to it. It's not as if because you are just switching. If you have been in the field, all these things will be issue. I understand it very well. So, but I will try my best uh, to as we have spoken about now. When I'm training, I'll try to go down. I will take care of that. I will be conscious of that because I also organize a KISS coding. That is for those children between the age of 0 to maybe 15 to 18. Now, when I am teaching them coding like this in Python, these are not the terms I use. You understand? Because I know their level. So maybe I'll try to borrow some of their logic, as we continue to help people like you, sir.
Okay.
So I'll try and do that. I'll try and do that. I'll try and do that. Okay, so I think we have used the time I actually planned to handle a few things, but the 6 minutes remaining, I will just use it to talk about the major ones. The major one I wanted to chip in before we close, so that in our next meeting we will go straight to advanced data types. And mind you, we are still going to be making reference to this basic data type. So one or two things I want us to understand, what we call indexing. And then after this, we'll stop. Indexing. Now, the word indexing means numerical positioning, representation of value stored in a variable. So what we are saying is that if we take a look at this particular
variable. Which one will I use here?
Sorry, come back with the definition.
Okay. So I said the word indexing, it means numerical positioning, representation of values in a variable. Numerical positioning, representation of values stored in a variable. So let me just create a new variable. Let's say what? Computer set is a variable. And here I'm storing what? Let's say I'm storing keyboard. I'm storing keyboard in this variable. Now, what we are saying that the whole of this keyboard, is stored in a variable called what? Comset. But we need to also understand that the character, the letters that makes up the keyboard, they are assigned to different words, memory allocation. So this is just what we are saying. So based on Mr. Dixie request, I'm doing this now. I'm going very basic. So letter K is in a different word, micro storage within the word, the main storage. Then letter E is also in a different word, micro storage. Then letter Y is also in a different storage. So we need to know that despite that the word keyboard is stored in this. In terms of how Python allocates the storage, so which means that inside this comset, there are what? Broken words or segments of storage that are holding each of those values that makes up keyboard. Now, that makes it possible for me to print K from what? Comset variable. That makes it possible for me to print E from comset variable. That makes it possible to print what? Y from comset variable. Now, what we are saying is that this concept of knowing the numbers that represent each of these values in the variable is called indexing. It's called indexing, such that Python recognize this keyboard, this K. So that means what? There is a number that represents the position of K. There is a number that represents the position of E. There is a number that represents the position of what? Of Y. And this concept of acknowledging the numbers that represent the positioning of each of those values, it is called what? Indexing. Now, the question now is that how does Python index those what? Values in a variable? Python counts from the left to the right. When Python counts value from the left to the right, that is called positive indexing. When Python counts from the right to the left, that is called negative indexing. Now, what is the counting method or the logic? Python counts E with what? The numbers of value before it. So Python will count Y with the number of value before Y. So which means that Python will count K as 0 Y because it uses the number before it to count K. So what we have before K? 0. Before you count K, you count nothing. That is why what? K is positioned at what? Index 0. Now, what will Python count E? Python will count E as 1. Why? Because it will have counted K as 1, and then before it counts what? E. So we have one value before E. That is why its label was 1. Then what will Python count Y? Python will count Y as 2. Why? Because it must have counted K as 1 and must have counted, K as 1. I'm talking about the mathematical counting now. And E as 2. That is why Y is at what? 2. So which means that indirectly, whenever you see 2, it means that what? 3 values are involved because the first one is already given 0. So these are positive. Now, if Python wants to count D from the right hand side to the left, then it's going to count it as what? -1. When Python is counting value from the right hand side to the left, it does not start with 0. Please take note of that. It starts with what? The actual counting, but it will carry a negative sign. So now that we understand, I want to get a response from one person, whether that logic is well explained or understood before we look at the practical aspect of it.
I think I understand
Sir,
very,
it's not
I
clear.
understand that
It's not
very
clear.
well. In fact, you've even gone to my level, and I appreciate you. God bless you, sir.
Yes, sir. Accounting from the right hand side, that one is not clear.
Hello, sorry, I was not here before. So I believe it's well explained, right? Okay, so now that we understand that concept, let's see how we can use it to print individual values. So which means that the task we are given here, the task is print letter K only from the whole of that keyboard. Print letter K from keyboard. Print letter K from keyboard. That's the task. So instead of me printing like this, like we have been doing, instead of me printing like this, printing com set. Because if I print com set, you see that to print the whole keyboard. But meanwhile, we are to print only letter K from the whole of that. So in that case, we are going to use this indexing concept. Now that we understand, oh, each of those letters have a number that represented. So I can use that number to call them out. But this is what we are going to do. We are going to say first that concept, the name of the container that is holding that variable with the character you want to print out. You call it first. Then you now use square brackets. Then, since we are printing key, that is K. K is at 0, so I'll put 0 inside the square bracket. So if I run this code now, it's going to output only letter K from the whole of that keyboard. So if I put 1, like I just explained to us now, it's going to print what? The A. So if I put 2, it's going to print what? Now, if I put -1, it's going to print. If I put -1, it's going to print D. So that is exactly what I was trying to explain to us.
Okay.
Are we together now? Please, can I get a response from one person? We are rounding up.
Yes, sir.
Just
Now,
want to-
if you print minus,
Yes.
It's
if
clear,
you
right?
print -2, that means R. Am I right?
Sorry, come again.
I said if you print -2, it's going
Yes.
to letter
Yes,
R.
if you print minus,
Oh, thank you.
if you print -2, it's going to print letter R. Yes, if you put -3.
Okay.
So if you want to print that K, then you have to calculate it. Right? So, but there's what we call slicing. Slicing means you want to print range. For example, I can say from 0 to, so you put column from 0 to 4. So which means going to print from the first one and then, but the last one for that particular 4 will not be printed. Look at it, printed only from K, E, Y, and B. So you can print, this type of printing is called slicing, where you are printing range. But if you want to print only one, then you have to go with the first option. So this is what we call Python what? Indexing. All right, so it's part of some of the basic things we need to understand as Python programmers. So any questions so far? This is where we are going to draw the curtain. And please, I want to advise us to join. Somebody should help me to write it down that in the next class, I think before we start, we are going to look at, just remember that the topic we are going to look at, which is what? Data type. Somebody should write it down and remind me. Conversion. So we are going to look at this briefly. Let's say the first 20 minutes before we do.
What?
Yes, sir. When are we meeting again, sir?
Okay, so for now, like I said when I started, the classes hold on Sundays so that to give room for everybody to practice the previous work and for us to be ready. But once we are done with certain aspects and we measure your level of progress to go beyond or to beyond the basic, we might bring additional day, but it will not exceed twice in a week. But for now, we are meeting once in a week, which is Sunday, and it gives room for everybody to practice enough before the next class. The video will be made available via the groups.
Sir,
Yes,
I
sir.
tried something. Can I show you?
Is that not too long? Next week, Sunday again. I think that's too far. Can't we miss another time in the
Yes.
week? Maybe Wednesday or Thursday?
But he said with time he will put that. Let us be patient now, so I will get it correctly and follow it at a slow pace and learn it. That is what he said.
No, those days cannot. Hello. Yes, please. I'm speaking from experience. I know that some of us, it's possible that
No need to be in a
we are
rush.
very curious, but it's better. It's better. You see this particular basic that we are looking at. Don't let us rush it. It's for my own good. If I bring it 3 times now, I'll finish the whole 8 to 10 classes within 1 week, and then it saved me time. But I'm not prioritizing that. I want to make sure that we get it. All right. So you can see that even some persons are here to watch to finish that video. Just imagine tomorrow night. Okay, we have another session. People will be skipping this one. So please, I want people to have enough time. Like I said, it will increase, but that is when I have seen that we have progressed. All right. So because next class now, your assignment now, your next class, your assignment is that I want to be able to see that you reapply all of this again, and then you should be able to send or screenshot and post it. Please, I don't want us to wait till the next class. All this that we have learned now, run them on any of the IDE you are using as your assignment,
then screenshot or you do a short video of it, post it in that group, then write your name and say my assignment. So if I'm seeing that before that Sunday, if I see the number of persons that respond to this assignment on Sunday, then that will give me an impression that we can increase the speed. This is programming. This is what some of us spend 4 years, 5 years to learn in school as computer science, under computer science. So you don't rush it. You know, I know that is IT,
Please, sir,
but let's
I
take
have a
it because at
I
the
have
end
a
of the day,
concern.
you want to make money. Okay, okay,
My concern is
okay.
I think when we started, you made mention of guiding us through this slow pace in order to get the basics. And for me, I wouldn't like you to rush it to change the mind because I've when I wanted to join, I am a novice in this programming and I changed my profession in order to get this. So I would not like it to be rushed.